Okay, we're live, but apparently no time for introductions because we weren't aware that they had found a match already, so we're going to jump right into it. Welcome me and Tribird. Alright, let's get going. First match between SJR and SWK. Okay!
Looking forward to it.
So welcome to match 1. We have our streamers here tonight. We have Jaeger12 and we have Imminent, respectively from SJR and from SWK. The first map on Conquest for the 550 drop is Crimson Straits. And Tribird, why don't you tell us a little bit about the restrictions for tonight?
I'll tell you this, everything's restricted. It's probably easier to tell you what's not restricted. That is machine guns and flamers. That is lasers of whatever your fancy, and that is LBX 10s, and that's it. To top it off, you can't even jump, Raffle. Can't even jump.
You can't even jump. Now this is...
Don't even think about striking either.
Yeah, oh that's right, strikes too. So this is the battle for the Center World, Atreus on the Marik Civil War. I believe this is turn 3. And so these guys are going into this match. They've played some specialty cards that have taken away abilities from their opponents, and we're seeing what that's going to be at. So basically everything is restricted, and we're going to see how that plays out. Right now we've got SJR moving in a very tight clump. They've taken Kappa and they're moving towards Epsilon, where SWK is sort of spread out all along the B line, with mechs all the way out to Theta. They're sort of forming a firing line, trying to get eyes onto Epsi as SJR moves into Cap. And this is a light drop, so you expect to see even more than the normal amount of brawling with such limited weapons. This is really going to be interesting. Part of the reason that we wanted to try and cast this was that there is just... it's so restricted. It's a very interesting style of play, so we're going to see a lot of interesting movements and stuff like that. Looks like SJR is trying to push down a little bit more towards B2, whereas SWK is still kind of just holding their position. SJR is going to be up on caps currently. They have 3 caps because they were able to take Epsilon as well as Kappa, and they are now pushing down through B2. It looks like they're going to either try and flank around or hit on Theta.
Now it's kind of interesting, without strikes, SWK I do believe was in a better position to get on Epsilon at a shorter route there from the beginning. Instead chose to not to, kind of strung out instead a few of their lights into Theta, maybe trying to avoid the massive murder ball that used to happen, or generally happens fairly quickly in these light drop decks.
And SJR has thrown up a UAV just right above the hill in B3, and it looks like they're pushing in to try and do exactly that and get a good brawling engagement. SWK had a couple of light mechs out of position out in B4. It looks like they still have one actually in B4, and there's a good old-fashioned brawl going on now. We see mechs of all kinds jumping in from everywhere. Lots of laser fire, no ACs. It's such a weird fight. I think I see an LBX 10 on that cataphract. SJR is going to work on the legs of these mechs. Oop, a little bit of delay here. But we see just an incredible brawl going down from both of these teams. The legged mech already goes down. 1 mech goes down for SWK. 2 mechs go down for SWK. White Death takes out Glory, so that's 2-1 in favor of SJR right now. I have never seen this many lasers.
These light drop decks are a bit of a cluster. You can have a match that ends 12-7, and really that is a pretty huge difference between the two teams. In some of the heavier drop decks, a match that ends like that is pretty close, but in these lights, people are going down on both sides. It's very tough to see a blowout.
We see Jaeger in this Jester. He gets legged, but he's still taking a couple shots. Looks like he's about to take the leg off that Trebuchet, but he's going to go down to the sniper for SWK. I wish I could get a current score. Don't forget though that SJR is up in caps, so if they do have to bail, they are capable. Just looking at the lances, oh there we go, score looked about even. For SWK, we've got, looks like, man, it's hard to tell what's going on without the kill counter on top. SWK is going for legs again, like everybody should in this light drop.
Although I will point out, it's kind of interesting that SWK is also legging the Hunchback. Now, generally, that's somewhere where you'll make an exception and try to pull off that hunch,
especially
as quickly as
the
possible.
4SP, which is quite dangerous. It's got a lot of them. It looks like, oh, does SWK have a stuck mech? It does. Play it anyway.
I was going to question that because it did seem at the start that they had one of their mechs off capping when the engagement started, which certainly gave a big advantage to SJR.
Yeah, it looks. I think somebody is actually stuck for SWK in the tunnel. and it looks as though, I believe SJR has pulled ahead. Yep, only 2 mechs left for SWK compared to, I believe, the 4 from SJR. So...
And very unfortunately, that stuck mech is Aurora,
it is
who
Aurora.
is the absolute top light pilot for SWK, and I think it's very fair to say probably one of the top 3 in the game.
Yeah, and that's rough. It must have happened after the minute mark for them not to have called that match, because most of the time, if there's a problem like that, it's Siri has a message for you, by the way. Did you catch that? Tribird, you Scarlet Woman, stop stealing my man.
He's calling me out on the stream.
It's okay. So yeah, SJR is going to take this game. It appears as though that stuck mech has really made a difference. I think that, are they just not going to kill him? Or, oh, they were just waiting. They're just going for the cap. Last mech out in the open is Blackjack Raider, and that leaves just Aurora, who's trapped in the tunnel. I wouldn't be surprised if SJR just goes for the cap, just because they might not want to lose mechs. Don't know how much they care about their KDR. Being said, I'm sure Aurora is in like full health, and it's possible that he could take some people down still. So, oh no, he's got a core
Actually,
CT.
not even full health. He's almost core center torso.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate that he got stuck.
It really is too bad. And in these light drop decks, losing 1 mech on either side of the start when these 2 teams are very evenly matched, that'll be the difference. And it's very unfortunate as well that it's at Aurora.
And there he goes, plummeting through the map as the match comes to an end. So, get the nice little star glitch at the end there. It literally looks like Aurora is plummeting into hell. Okay, so we've got a couple of interesting things to note there. SJR, it looks like, brought 4 fire starters, 4 hunchbacks, 2 jesters, a jenner, and a blackjack, whereas SWK brought 2 trebs, a fire starter, a jenner, or 4 jenners, 2 fire starters, a shadowhawk, a thunderbolt, a cataphract, and a hunchback. So SWK had far more medium mechs, and they even had a heavy mech, but that means that they didn't have as many light mechs. So how do you think that this kind of played in... Oh, let me pop over to the analysis screen. Oh no, I left the intro on. Sorry, that thing is clangy as shit. I know it is, guys. So first match goes to SJR. How do you think that the restrictions played into all this?
Well, you certainly see it in the mech choice, right? Normally in a light drop like this, it would be dominated by AC-20 Shadowhawks. Certainly, we've seen SJR and SWK both play those mechs very, very strongly. They both excel at hitting basically just legs with those AC-20 shots, and making a very short end to most brawls they enter. In this, it was much more laser focused. I'm kind of interested as to what the build would have been on the Shadowhawk. It's not an energy boat, and so other than running an LBX-10, I guess it must have been. I didn't actually catch the loadout on it.
Well, it couldn't have been a Streakhawk, and I also didn't see the loadout on that Shadowhawk, to be completely honest. I saw the Cataphract was running a bunch of medium lasers and an LBX-10, but other than that, it looked like those... I feel like one of the reasons SJR fared so well, not just the poor stuck Aurora, but those Embers, man, they really do work, and especially against slightly heavier mechs. Like, Embers aren't as powerful against like other Jenners and things like that. I think you can pretty much pick off an Ember if you're starting like 1-on-1 at 100 health against each other. But against heavier mechs, especially in a light drop like that where taking off armor is so important, they crit out components so fast.
And
so
Siri
I think
has
that
let us know that the Shadowhawk was running SRMs and large lasers. So thank you very much, Siri, contributing even when he's not here.
Awesome, perfect. I mean, it wouldn't be a war room without Siri. I'll say that for him. I miss you, Siri. This was kind of an impromptu cast. Eagle came to me and was like, hey man, this looks like a pretty fun game to cast, and I agreed. So yeah, we're casting this. It's a little bit off the cuff, but it should be a good time.
Should be a great time.
We started a little bit late, so let's go around. Why don't you introduce yourself, man? Not that people don't know who you are.
My name is Eagle Falconhawk. I'm Blackstone Knight's most average pilot. and it's good to be here. Good to be here.
And as always, I am Ruffle Waffle, and so this is the third turn of the Marik Civil War. This is a match between SJR and SWK, two of the top two teams actually right now in Marik Civil War, both Tier 1. So actually, I'm going to bring up the map really quick so people can see kind of what they're fighting over. Why don't you chat for a second?
Yeah, for sure. So as I think Raffle kind of mentioned, we didn't have a lot of time to talk about it before the match, but this is the fight for the center planet in Marik, Astrius. It is worth the most points towards the Marik scoreboard. It also has the most restrictions. So it's a very interesting battle. It's kind of what I think every team is fighting towards. Each team starts kind of in their own quarter of the map and is working towards Astrius in the middle. And so it's no surprise that these two teams, which are absolutely two of the top teams in the game, are the two that are fighting over it tonight.
Yeah, and so we see SJR, I believe, is red, and SWK is purple on this map. SJR had to go for their favorite color, of course. Actually, I think they picked last, to be completely honest. But, so they're fighting over the center planet. Here, initially, the planet PCs and no jump jets. You will notice that what is not among those is the no ballistics restriction, which is new and unique this year.
And I think it's new and unique to this specific match. It's based on a card that was played. Is that correct?
So that restriction itself is actually, it has been used in other matches. Put that up a little bit more center. It has been used in other matches, but only a few, and it wasn't put on this planet purely because it would limit the number of choices so much. But yeah, I don't remember who played the card. I believe it was SWK played a card that allowed them to either add or remove a restriction from a planet, and they chose to add the no ballistics restriction, and in turn SJR played their card to force SWK to not have ballistics. So what you end up with is no strikes, no ECM, no lock-on, no PPCs, no jump jets, no ballistics, excluding LBX-10 and machine guns.
No fun. Back to that last match, I do want to point out that in that specific drop, I think Embers is definitely the smart way to go. Steel Jags had many more Embers than SWK did. The Ember with the machine guns, I mean, obviously they excel with critting out legs once they've been exposed. Less of an issue when everyone's running an AC-20, because once that leg is critted, the next AC-20 shot that's going to hit it's probably going to take it out anyways. When you're trying to track lasers on that target, it's a little bit harder, and there's a chance that even if you do get a hit on that, if the target's moving, you're not actually going to lose that leg. So that's where these machine guns I think really made a difference for Steel Jags.
And it not only comes down to mech choice. Really, I would say that the only two that really affected these teams, the only two restrictions were probably no jump jets and no ballistics. They both would favor naturally the AC-20 builds on things like Shadowhawks and stuff like that, just because it's such a potent build, and AC-20s are so powerful against lights. But these aren't really teams that are prone to running things like PPCs or lock-ons or ECMs in these lower drops, just because they like to rely a lot more on pilot skill and stuff like that than some like gimmicks and stuff like that. So the jump jets and ballistics were really the big handicaps, and it's going to be in these upcoming matches that you really see the shenanigans of the LBX. Like, so the Marik standard drops are 550, 675, and 800 tons. So in this next drop, we're going to be seeing way more heavies, way more mediums and stuff like that, and assaults. And you can't put an AC-20. You can't put a gauze. So what do you fill? And you can't put a PVC on it. So what do you fill that weight with? What mechs do you even choose? So it's going to be interesting, and that's part of the reason
I can't wait. I think there's a chance we might take this back to early 2013. Are we going to see SRM Centurions? Are we going to see brawling Atlases with the AC-20 off and an LBX on? Maybe bump those medium lasers that you traditionally have in the arm ups to large lasers. Might we even see the return of the much heralded 4 ER large laser stalker with some good old-fashioned hill humping action now that jump jets are not allowed? I'm really excited to see how this plays out.
Man, I gotta tell you, I keep thinking about builds in my head, and I keep having to discard them, being like, oh nope, that has jump jets. Oh nope, that has ECM. It's definitely an odd task that these guys have been put with, but it should be exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. So, just to give you guys a little bit more overview, as I said, 550, 675, and 800 tons. The way this works, for those of you that don't know, is the first three drops are scripted. So it's 550, 675, 800 tons, and then should somebody not have won at that point, so if it's not a 3-0, the team that is down wins will get to pick the next drop weight. So say SJR is down and they want to pick, so they pick another 675 drop because they did really well, and it moves on from there. And then should they win that one and it's tied up, then SWK would pick, and so on to the best of 5. So yeah.
I'd like to say on another critically important topic, are you growing your hair out right now, Raffle?
Oh God, not on purpose. So here's a story behind that.
We got Wispsy and Channel here, and we got Wispy on top of your head over there.
Yeah, it's bad. So I shave my head, obviously, because I'm going bald. I'm not sure if you can see that up there. That's shiny head underneath that thin patch of hair. I've got the rest of it down here. That's where I make up for it. But I was growing, if I don't shave every 4 days, it's a huge pain in the ass, because it's like an entire razor blade to shave my head. Because despite being completely bald on the top, I have luscious hair on the sides that you can't see because it's obscured by my massive headphones. But yeah, so it's growing out, and I was going to shave it for charity. I was going to grow it out to shave it for charity, but I missed that sign up, and now it's just a matter of me being lazy and not getting my hair cut.
I think it looks great, man. Looks good.
Yeah, what can I say? Collision damage OP. I'm just reading out the chat for a second. Yeah, so I guess we can talk a little bit more about that map, and I will bring up the actual Crimson Straits map, although we can't necessarily we can't draw on it easily.
Yeah,
but let's talk about the strats.
Like right off the start, Crimson Strait, we all know the issue with it is the mechs get stuck all over the place on it. I think it's a great design map. There's a lot of interesting places to fight. Mechs just get stuck everywhere, and it's something that I really wish PGI would go back and clean up with their map group, and maybe kind of put a pause on developing new maps. I think it would really be useful, because I think otherwise it's a great map.
Yeah, and I'm just going to bring it up super quick here. Let's take down the patch so that the viewers have a chance to look at the map. So we saw SWK. Do you need a link to the map, by the way, Trybird?
No, I've got it.
Okay, perfect. So we see that SWK started in the eastern side of the map, so they were over in C7, spread out all the way through B5, whereas SJR started very clumped down in F2.
Yep. Now, something interesting is... Sorry, go on.
No, I was actually just going to say excuse me because I have a cough.
Oh yeah, no worries. Something interesting is I do believe SWK started on the side that had a much shorter route to Epsilon. They chose to forgo that option and sent a few of their lights into Theta and picked that up, but left Epsilon empty. Now it's kind of tough to get Epsilon first. If you send a lot of lights in there from the side that SWK started in, you can sometimes tick it over and run out as soon as it's barely ticked over. Your big concern is a strike being put down, and also it's pretty hard to get cover because it's a much lower actual capture structure, I guess, than the standard one. In this particular one, when you kind of had an idea that most mechs are going to be running medium lasers and there aren't going to be any strikes, I'm kind of surprised that SWK just didn't get lights in there and tick it over right off the start. As we saw, in the end, it didn't really matter, because in those light drops, they usually just become a giant murder ball anyways, which is what did happen. But as far as getting that initial initiative, I think SWK might have missed a chance there.
And I wonder what the spawn locations were like, because if SWK's lights started all the way back in C7, because remember they had much fewer, they only had 6 lights compared to SJR's 8. And so if their lights had started back in like C7 and B5, then it could be that they did have the longer route to Epsilon. Because one of the advantages that you do get starting down in F2 is that all of your mechs start within almost a grid of each other, and that can be very useful in drops like this where you need to be very clustered the whole time. So you saw SJR move up, take Kappa very, very quickly, and I also wonder if part of the hesitation on the fact from SWK might have been Aurora getting stuck. That might have hindered them going, because where he was stuck, it looked like he might have been going for Epsilon. So I wonder if that might have hindered them as well. But yeah, so then we saw SJR move up from Kappa, quickly take Epsilon, and without PPCs, without strikes, without ballistic weapons, there wasn't a ton of fire that SWK could really put on SJR while they were taking Epsilon.
Yep, absolutely. But I mean, those light drops, I mean, they're always going to turn into a giant murder ball off the start, and it's just who does a better job of focusing their fire onto the legs that are running by them, right?
Yeah, there's can't remember who, but one of my first competitive matches, I had somebody tell me that basically the light drop is a coin flip, which I mean isn't necessarily true, but in a lot of cases it can boil down to one mech being slightly out of position, gets legged, and suddenly you're down those crucial 6 medium lasers in a fight, and you really need them.
Yep, absolutely. Well, the other thing is, it's just your firing discipline is very critical. If you're shooting at someone's arm, you're completely wasting your shot. It's kind of a DPS game, right? Because you're going to be having continuous opportunities to fire during the entire time. So if you're piling the good old-fashioned 6 medium laser Jenner, any shot you take that isn't burrowing right into someone's leg is kind of a wasted shot. So it's really up to your good light pilots to be able to get their shots on target.
Yeah. I think that's sort of... is there anything else you want to talk about that first game? Otherwise, I guess we can kind of just chill and shoot the shit a little bit and talk with the chat until next match comes up.
I think I'm good, Raffle. Thanks for asking, though.
Yeah, man, no problem. So you tell... chat, do you have any questions? I know you're on a 30-second delay, and therefore you're going to be responding here in a little bit, but otherwise I'm just going to ask Eagle random questions, and we'll chat for a little while until the next match gets up.
I do have some stuff to talk about.
Oh, Jaeger says good hit in 5 minutes, so we shouldn't have to bore you guys for long.
And actually, it should be less than that. I think Siri threw that into chat about a minute ago as well. So.
Oh, perfect.
We are getting close, but until then, like I have some stuff to talk about over here.
Oh, really? Let's hear it.
Some pretty serious stuff. Well, for our good friends who are running Marik, I came up with some ideas for some restrictions for next season.
Oh God! Oh, I'm super excited.
This is I'm just throwing it out there. These don't all have to be used, but maybe you want to use some of them. Here's one: no mechs accelerating. You can't use the W key. That's overpowered. If you want to get somewhere, you got to moonwalk to it. I think that's a good one. How about this? No endo steel. Everyone knows endo steel is better than ferrophyrus. Cut endo steel out.
I think the best part about this is that I can picture you like sitting down at your desk in your like cutoff, just giggling to yourself, being like, "What if we couldn't use the W key?"
I'm getting the W key right out. How about this? No weapons that don't contain the word flame.
Does that mean that you can put anything on your dragon flame? Or does that mean you can...
That was my next one. No mechs that don't start with the word flame.
God damn it.
So I think that's a good one too. How about this? No pilots with numbers in their names. And that's Roman numeral, that's traditional. So Jaeger 12, he's out. G-Man 129, he's out.
I'm out.
1, he's out.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Icy 0, sorry buddy, he's out too.
What about no pilots with more than 3 matching names? Like, I don't know, there's that dude who's got like 3 bird names.
You know, if that has to be the restriction, so be it. I'll sit out that one. Here's I think is a great one. No sleeves.
Sleeve? I think that would only be great just because then we'd have to enforce it by having somebody stream with a 12-person Skype call open just to make sure that everybody had no sleeves on.
Vils just came up with a good one. No VPN, but let's not get into that.
Oh, we'll stay away from that one.
Love you, Vils.
Trent agrees. No pilots with birds in their name. I like that restriction. Oh,
Trent's just trying to get me out. Do you want to hear about the great game mode I came up with today?
Everybody gets in a locust except for one person in an atlas, and you play like assassination. Is that what it's gonna be?
It is so close to that. Actually, it's ridiculously close to that.
Can't believe we didn't actually compare
the
notes.
Great Locust Race. So here's how it works. You don't have to go on a locust, but you're gonna want to. That's critical for this. What you do is no weapons are allowed. It's played on assault, and it's just the first team to get their entire team destroyed by the enemy turrets wins.
Well,
That's good, right?
that is good. I mean, alternately, what we could do is, since we're getting private matches, we could really use that to our advantage, and we could do 12v12s with all 12 locusts, and then you have to get like a full circuit of Alpine in, and whoever gets the full circuit in the fastest wins.
I think this is going to be great. I think we have all sorts of options opening up.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I mean, I see no problem with all these game modes.
So what do you want to talk about, man?
I don't know. For some reason, I'm dropping frames right now, and I have no idea why. But it's just probably college internet. Can I say? Oh, no, it's still on it. Oh, looks like the game is up anyways, so perfect timing.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is 675. It looks like it's a hit on Caustic. Let me bring over to the screen.
Very interesting. I've got SWK with 5 lights, 3 Jenners, and 2 fire starters, and it looks like they had 3 Orions, a Cataphract, and unfortunately I didn't catch the other 2.
Yeah, and so starting off on Caustic, we have SJR starting Gamacide, which is the C5D5 area, and then we have SWK, who is starting on the opposite side. SWK is looking, they are rushing, it looks like, towards Theta and towards Kappa, trying to make use of their positioning, which is interesting because SJR is going to have far more open lines on the Theta, but again, with all these crazy builds that are going to be going on, it's hard to tell what exactly they can do about contesting a cap other than just getting in a brawl.
Yep. We have Captain Terrific from SWK very cautiously moving into to Theta. Looks like he would have been spotted by SJR on the other side, and sure enough, they are firing at him.
Yeah, and so we have both teams, actually, it looks like, are just kind of pushing up around Theta. It appears that SGR has the advantage currently. I think SWK still has 1 or 2 mechs capping Kappa. But no, they've actually abandoned that cap. Nobody has any cap points right now. They're just circling around Theta. It looks like it's just going to be one massive brawl. UAV goes up from both teams. This is interesting. I've never seen. Normally, SWK is really careful about getting cap points, and they always want to like get that advantage. But I think that these builds might be a little like messing with them a little bit.
What else is interesting is 3 people on swords own protectors.
Hey man, I own a protector. Let's not hate on a protector. 3 large lasers and a gauge rifle. Come on, can't mess with that. Of course, if you get hit, you explode. But it looks like another UAV goes down for SJR. It looks like there's going to be some form of engagement. They're both just sort of popping back and forth on either side of the D5 hill. It's super interesting because normally, I mean, SJR is super clumped up right now, which normally would be a huge problem because there would be airstrikes and arty strikes everywhere, and it'd just be a massive clusterfuck. But without air arty and without these big ballistic bore weapons, it's interesting.
You do notice that SJR is running a Banshee, so a very heavy mech for a 675 drop weight. Running the worst Banshee out there, the 3M with 2 large pulse, 5 medium lasers. What I ran when I was mastering it, and it clearly was the worst of the Banshees. But in this drop deck where you can't really take any useful ballistics, I guess it's got a place.
And Glory gets a good shot and takes down Imminent. So Imminent falls. So that puts SJR up 1 kill, and they're still obviously even on caps because nobody has any cap points.
And Eminent was running a Jenner, it looks like. I'm watching the SWK stream myself, which is a little bit behind the SJR one.
Mm-hmm. I'm losing frames for some reason. I have no idea why. But we're just going to keep kind of going with the cast for the moment. SJR and SWK are both still sort of playing cautiously, although it looks like SJR has now moved in for that cap on Theta, now that they're feeling a little bit confident. They're up 1 mech over SWK. It's interesting. It's so pokey, but in a completely different style. Oh, and it looks like SWK is actually beginning to push in. All of their mechs are pushing over the hill now in D5, and SJR is pulling their lights off of Theta to come back and counter this push. SWK is pushing up. They've moved past the opening, and they're just trying to push into SJR right now. SJR is falling back. They've got a couple lights in amongst trying to harry and harass. And keep in mind, they are up on light kills, and they take down another light. Seriothrax takes down Black Raider, putting SJR up at least 2 kills over SWK, and as well they have that sliver cap on Theta. This is turning. Oh, but Siri goes down, so it's 2-1 right now in favor of SJR. This is such an interesting brawl on this map, especially because all of these mechs have to be so careful about their heat. Some LBXs flying everywhere, machine guns from the Ember. Looks like those Banshees are taking up a lot of fire. It's hard to whittle through Banshees with just medium lasers.
Absolutely. And not only are they having to watch their heat because most mechs out there are energy boats, but they're running mechs that normally they would not. This is not something that you spend much time of your year practicing.
Suicidal Baby goes down, and so does Iridian. I believe the score currently is 5-3. Antonius goes down, unit leader out of position. I'm going to keep making that joke forever. Putting the score up to, I believe, 6-3 in favor of SJR. T-Fun also takes on another. It looks like this is going to be SJR's game. They are not only up on cap, but they are up on kills, and it looks like they are just trying to whittle through these last few mechs, pushing in on those lights, taking the legs, and looks like SJR is going to mop this one up. Really interesting, to be completely honest. I've never seen SWK just like ignore caps like that before. Jaeger gets a nice double tap there. Oh, he's gonna get the triple kill. Oh, he overheats for the triple kill. Jaeger goes for the hat trick. Still nothing compared to Harry's. I think it was like a hectakill or something like that with airstrike. I mean, 2 friendlies, but that's nothing.
I do remember that one. Cap point in Canyon.
And the last kill goes down. Jaeger takes another one, and that is game number 2 for SJR.
Yeah, I do wonder what caused the shift in the SWK strategy. They're certainly very, very familiar with playing Conquest. I believe if you asked them, that would be their preferred game mode. And as you mentioned, normally pretty diligent in picking up a cap point early. As we saw in the end, once again, it didn't really matter. There was a ton of time left in that before anyone won it on cap.
And so, yeah, for this we have 2 Banshees, 3 Hunchbacks, 3 Jesters, 3 Firestarters, and 1 Jenner from SJR, whereas SWK has 3 Cataphracts, a Thunderbolt, 3 Jenners, 2 Firestarters, and 3 Orions. So we see a switch in that dynamic, actually. Head back to the analysis booth with Tribird here. And we see sort of a switch in that mentality where they actually started going for... SWK was the one bringing more lights, whereas SJR was focused on more mediums. So it's an interesting shift. Those Cataphracts are, they're heavy, man. I think that SJR definitely made use of their Hunchbacks. Those 4 Ps in an all-laser format are really powerful. Airstrike pentakill. I'm just trying to make sure. I think I fixed the stuttering problem, but I'm not positive. I was dropping frames. I think it was because I had Imminent and Captain Terrific stream open at the same time, and I think that was giving me a little bit of crushed balls in terms of internet-wise. But yeah, why don't you take us through that drop a little bit, Eagle, while I check up on a couple things.
Yeah, I mean, what you saw very early was both teams circle their side of the caldera. Neither one was particularly eager to head inside to Theta and pick up that cap point. Also, both eschewing the cap points on their spawn side. So that's kind of how it started. As they circled back and forth a few times. Unfortunately for SWK, Eminent went down. Jenner just took a little bit too much fire from. It looked like I believe it was Glory and the rest of SJR, who's peeking up from inside the caldera over at them. So went down early. At that point, they were both kind of entrenched on their side of the caldera. SWK felt it was on them to push into SJR a little bit, and as they did, SJR, as you kind of saw off the start there, was able to pick off another one as they were kind of in a good hill humping position, while it looked like SWK had to expose their mechs pretty fully as they crested that hill. As we know, the mechs they had out there, Cataphracts, Orions, not particularly good hill humpers. All have very, very low slung weapons. So that might have been a factor in getting the next mech down.
Yeah, and I want to fix a little bit of error. I had both Captain Terrific and Imminent streams open, and I closed Imminence. So we were actually watching Captain Terrific's that match and the first match. So the overlay is wrong, but it seemed to have fixed our bitrate problem. So we're going to keep it with Captain Terrific stream. So apologize to Imminent, and apologize to Captain Terrific for not giving you credit, but those are the respective streams that we've been watching. So yeah, let me bring up the map. There wasn't a ton tactically to talk about, but let me bring up the map all the same. Crimson, not Crimson, Caustic Valley.
You can do it, Caustic Valley.
These words, man, they're so hard.
And I think another interesting factor in this match, I mean, anyone who was not in a light was probably pretty uncomfortable in the mech they were in. They would be running an energy boat that they probably don't spend a lot of time in and running it on a very hot map.
Yep, it's definitely true, and for some reason, of course, it's not showing up. What the hell is happening? I'm botching the show, man.
I believe in you. I have so much faith right now, Raffle.
For some reason the window capture isn't showing up. Oh, it's trying to capture TeamSpeak 3. That would explain it. There we go. Okay, so we've got the map up now.
I knew you could.
Hey, man, it's all about that perseverance. Okay, so we had SWK started on the left side by Sigma along the E2, D2 area with that one lance spawning in F3. And then we had SJR spawning in the Sulphur Lake with a lance. The third lance, they spawn all the way over in E6. So it's E6, C6, and C5 are where their lances spawn. So this is... I'm unsure how I feel about the balance of this map after they rearrange these spawn positions, to be completely honest. Because it feels like... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't feel like it's as bad as it is in Assault, where you have a situation where the turrets are set up a little bit asymmetrically, and one side kind of gets a raw deal if they're trying to push that the LRM turrets are hitting them faster than the other side would. But certainly a factor in Conquest as well.
Yeah, and the normal approach used to be like approaching from the lake and approaching from where Epsilon is now. That fight would always sort of take place over that D5 hill, and it's interesting that that's what you saw happen this time. But it's interesting because especially in a match like this, when you don't have jump jets, the team Gamma actually has the advantage, whereas normally I would say that the Sigma team has the advantage because they're allowed to just sort of pop-tart that ridge over at any mech, and then the team at Gamma has to shift around towards the E4 area, or that side of the caldera. And there is another small ridge there, but it's not as definite of a defensive ridge as that D5 ridge is and was. And so it's just a very different dynamic with the new spawn locations, and especially with these restrictions.
And as we know here, anytime you get two top teams playing against each other, once that first mech goes down, a lot of times that can make all the difference in the world, because that team has the advantage of being able to remain entrenched, especially in a situation where there's no arties or airstrikes to move them out of that entrenched spot. SWK, after losing Eminent, decided very, very quickly that they needed to push onto SGR. Now, unfortunately for them, as they pushed over the D5 hill, they really had to expose all their mechs. I don't know if they got all their mechs to crest at exactly the same time. It was a little bit easy for SJR to probably focus down a few of those mechs, and also SJR had the advantage of cover.
Well, and it was also something to take note of is the fact that SWK brought those Orions, whereas SJR brought Jesters. Jesters have, I believe the build they were running is 2 large, 4 mediums, and that means you can pick with those 2 larges from behind almost any hill, and you barely have to move up. Like, those are they're mounted way higher than your head, so as soon as you can see the target, you can take a shot. Whereas with Orions, all of those weapons are mounted below your cockpit, so it's a lot harder to peek. And so after SWK was down those mechs, it was really important, or that mech, sorry, it was really important that they push, because they did have, it looked like the more brawly comp. It's weird though, I keep coming back to it, because I don't think I've ever seen SWK ignore objectives. In fact, I've seen them beat SJR on caps because they've made SJR fight for caps, and SWPK is really good at that sort of hectic play style where they're all over the map and they've got a couple mechs here and a couple mechs there and they're picking people off. And it seemed like they sort of played to SJR's favor, where SJR was happy to just sit there in a big clump of mechs. They didn't have to worry about air arty, so they just got to sit there and play their game, and it showed. I mean, 2-12 against SWK. So.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. I do. I'm very skeptical on the choice of Orions. I guess for this, I always kind of considered it a mech that, based on its hard points all being so low slung, kind of has to brawl, but because of its hitbox. Now I know it got a little bit cleaned up. It doesn't have the giant center torso that it once did, but just because of the hitbox setup on it, I didn't think it was really a great brawler. So it was kind of an interesting choice for them on that. But it's with all these restrictions. I mean, whatever you're choosing, it's going to be outside the comfort zone and certainly outside the meta.
Yeah, I agree. It was a fun match to watch, though. Definitely, these restrictions are spawning definitely very different styles, and it's fun to watch.
Absolutely. It's I threw it up there on Reddit today, but it reminds me a lot of. Are you old enough to remember GoldenEye for Nintendo 64 over there, Raffle?
Oh yeah, that was my heyday, man. You kidding me?
It was that reminded these restrictions. They remind me of GoldenEye 4-player slappers only.
I was a fan of
just running around judo chopping.
Yeah, no, I always just took Odd Job then, and then you had your hat no matter what. Just cut people.
And if you were playing as Jaws, you actually couldn't even hit Odd Job with your standard chop. You had to bend down to hit him.
That's right. And with an N64 controller, that was a giant pain in the ass because you had to move around, use it. Oh, I forgot about that. That was brutal, man. This before.
So I think we're both on the same page of just dropping this and going to competitive GoldenEye.
Yep. You heard it here, folks. Raffle Waffle and Tribird, we're leaving the Mech Warrior community. We're gonna go play some competitive GoldenEye. Check in.
Bring it back.
Check in for my new show, Golden Room, which will start up in a month, talking about the competitive meta of knee slappers, golden guns only. Gonna really break it down into some. I can't even do it.
I was always a big proximity mine guy. Those are the best. You just you threw
so
them on
good.
the known spawn points, and that was beautiful.
Was it GoldenEye or was it was it Nightfire that had the map with the rotating carousels on the snow map that you could put the proximity mines in, and somebody would like run in and just get totally tripped by the mines and explode? I think that was Nightfire.
I don't remember a rotating carousel.
Oh, I think it was Nightfire. They were like ski lifts, and they'd rotate around this big map.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I don't think that was
really quick though.
That existed.
Yep.
Mech
Warrior.
Yeah,
well, I mean, not really. Is there anything else we want to talk about this map, or this map in this game?
No, I'm good. Thanks for asking, Raffle.
Okay, I just figured I'd make sure. I don't think chat had really anything that they wanted from us, although I will check because I do love my viewers. They are awesome.
Pretty quiet, other than our good friend Vils over there.
Vils think okay.
Who's calling me out in my GoldenEye play?
Oh, I mean, I think we should probably have I don't even know how you would. I guess emulators. You could stream with like an N64 emulator.
Sleepover? Is that what you're trying to say?
Sleepover. Perfect. All right. Vils and Tribird are gonna have a sleepover, and then they're gonna do.
How I remember playing GoldenEye.
Oh yeah.
Elementary school. That was a good time.
Dude, that was that's a throwback. I haven't thought about GoldenEye in ages. But yeah, it looks like so that was match 265. Next match will be 800 tons. I hope we see some large laser stalkers. Personally, I feel like we're gonna see some large laser stalkers, maybe some battle masters. You think we'll see banshees? I feel like banshees aren't quite, the hard points aren't quite high enough.
I would say that I would certainly expect Steel Jaguar to bring banshees. If they're bringing them to the 675, I don't know why they wouldn't bring them to the 800. It's a 95-ton max, so it's, unless they feel they'd rather get Atlases out there, which maybe they would, but without ECM, I'd maybe take a Banshee over an Atlas.
Oh, who's here? Somebody joined our channel. Oh no! I'm in 2 TSs. My bad. I fucked up.
You're panicking. Just stay.
I am. I was like, somebody's here. Oh, I was over in SJR's channel making sure that the stream delays were at the same time, so it's all good.
And And so I guess it depends on how I guess these teams feel about SRMs, whether since the last patch, which I'm told hit reg improved on them a little bit, whether they feel comfortable bringing them out. I believe SWK was running a Shadowhawk with a few SRMs on it in the first match. If you do feel confident in the SW or the with SRMs in this match, maybe you're bringing out kind of your traditional brawling Atlas. If not, I think you'd seen teams go with that the ugly third brother, the Banshee 3M.
So what would that Atlas be? Would it be 3 SRM6s with Artemis and 2 large lasers and a DDC?
So the traditional one would be 3 SRM6s or SM4s, depending on how you wanted to manage your heat, an AC20 and 2 medium lasers in the arm. If you can't run that AC20, maybe you drop that down to an LBX10 and bump those arm lasers up to large lasers. I think that would run fairly hot, but I guess it's pilot discipline for that.
I have faith that we're going to see 6 large laser boar's heads. Uh, just, I can feel it.
I think what was it? I believe both SWK and SJR. I believe it was G-Man were joking that they were going to be running 6 large laser Banshees in this drop. So we'll see if it happens. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, it's definitely making people play out of their comfort zone, and for some people play in their comfort zone. Like I know people that just have like their favorite build is just like utter trash in my head. I like look at it and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like, why do you like that? I don't understand. And of course, I have builds like that too. Like I still run the 6 LRM5 catapult just for funsies, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, I'd like to...
Surly brings up a great point about not forgetting the 2 machine guns that you could put on the DDC.
Right. Absolutely critical machine gun.
I mean, I suppose you could do the 6 SRMs, or sorry, the 3 SRM6, 2 LBX10 Atlas DDC.
Could.
That is like a build. I don't know.
It's out there.
It is possible. Vils is reminding us of the 4 machine gun Banshee 3E, which would actually just be awesome. That's what I really want to see. I want to see 12 assault mechs with nothing but medium lasers and machine guns pinging away at each other.
Just new restriction: no torso twisting.
Well,
That'd
matches
be one
up.
of the next restriction. So just standing each other, just assaults, just looking at each other, shooting machine guns.
It sounds perfect to me. I was meaning to ask you about that actually when we talked about flamers. How long do you think it would actually take for a flamer to kill an assault mech? But yeah,
let's not talk about that because it looks like match is up.
it is indeed. Let's do it. So guys, you are joining us for match number 3 between SJR and SWK. This is the 800-ton drop with restrictions of all kinds. The only things that these players are allowed to bring are machine guns, LBXs, SRMs, and lasers. Everything else is restricted. So, oh, I thought we had a mull for a second, but it looks like everybody's good. Maybe tabs. Yep. Aura said something, so I'm not sure.
No, it's as far as I can tell, both teams
Try not to use.
both teams are going.
Oh yeah, it looks like Aura has jump jets on, but he's gonna try not to use them. As Panic Button, my DC would say, you better pop that fucking keyboard off your key. You better pop that keyboard key off your keyboard before you play this match. So yep. So we've got some general positioning right now. It looks like SWK has actually rushed into Upper City towards Kappa, and SJR is moving all of its assault mechs. We do see some stalkers. We do see some banshees. They are moving them down into the river towards Theta, and so we're going to see a little bit of poking here. And I'm wondering who's going to get the better hand at this, because I feel like normally there's better cover in Upper City, but that might just be for jump snipers, and with those high-topped stalkers, SJR might be able to get some decent shots out from the river.
Absolutely. Also interesting to see, and I haven't seen the loadout yet, but it looks like our friends in SWK are running Miseries versus, I think I saw a 4 or a 5 large laser Stalker 3F, which has a better, much better torso twist than the Misery does over there on the side of SJR. Also, the Banshees are back for SJR as well.
Yep.
And as you can see, the SJR is in a very significant clump right now, but without Aaron Artie strikes, nothing wrong with that.
Yep, and it looks like SJR has sent a few mechs away. I believe they are going for Epsilon. Yep, they've sent their light pack away to Epsilon while they kind of hold them off here with their heavy and assault mechs, trying to gain that cap advantage and make sure that if something goes wrong, they can, run away and try and prolong the match.
And as we just saw in chat within the game there, one of I believe the SWK players did drop an Artie, but dropped it off in the distance. I guess burning it under the just scared to accidentally drop it when it counts, just based on reflex.
Yeah, a little bit of sketchy some sketchy things going on, but it looks like both teams are just happy to be playing, so they're letting it go, letting it slide. We do see somewhat of an engagement happening. SJR is beginning to push up into B2. Their lights actually are far behind, pushing up into C3, and it looks like SWK's lights are trying to cut them off or maybe get behind them. But we're going to get a really good brawl going up here in the upper city of River City. UAVs go down from both teams. We see they want to get that targeting information. SJR, it looks like, is just going to kind of push forward. They feel confident with their brawling builds. We see, a Cicada gets legged, though, for SJR as the SWK lights pull in behind it. And now it is certainly a brawl. We've got actually one of SWK's mechs is sitting kind of out of the fight, but we'll see what's going on with that later. SJR is pulling in. They have actually taken, it looks like, Upper City now, where SWK seems to have fallen down into the gardens and is trying to pick at them from there. They're at the very edge of that cliff, and it looks like they are dropping down now. I'm trying to look at these mini-maps, but those UAVs obscure so much. That Banshee for SWK is completely cored, and it goes down. Jaeger gets a good kill, and actually an awesome for SWK, but that is also getting cored, as SJR looks like they're just going in for blood. They're pushing in, and Jaeger gets another kill.
Also, I'd like to point out, it looks like there was a team kill over on SJR's side. Got taken out our good friend Adwala.
Oh, yeah, good call. And it looks like these, and remember that these torso angles are a big thing to pay attention to, because Banshees can only shoot so far up and down, so that's got to be something that they're watching out for in this engagement. Actually, Captain Terrific is sitting as far out of the fight as he possibly can. He is the cherriest red of CTs. Oh, and he goes down. A nice shot there from Jaeger brings him to the ground. Another Stalker goes down for SWK. It looks like SJR is getting the upper hand in this fight. Oh yeah, for sure. We see them pushing in on the remainder of SWK's mechs, and again, it looks like this match looks like it's gonna be a 3-0 for SJR.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this one it's academic at this point. It's over.
Jaeger, man, he just loves this Banshee. He is taking out people left and right. Yeah. So
is Jaeger?
But he's in a hunchback. What am I talking about?
Hunchback.
I'm an idiot. Jaeger's in a hunchback.
That's fine. Hunchbacks and Banshees are really similar.
Yeah, I mean, other than the tonnage, they do have a lot of medium lasers, and that is game. GG is called, and the series will go to SJR.
And a rather quick one, which is good if you had plans tonight, I guess.
I mean, I'm not going to be mad just purely because I've stayed up like 3 hours doing this before, and it's not super fun. Just really quick for the builds, we see 3 Banshees, 2 Stalkers, 3 Stalkers, 3 Banshees, 2 Hunchbacks, a Fire Starter, a Cicada, 2 Fire Starters. I was actually 3 Hunchbacks, my apologies. And for... I'm having trouble here, man. They didn't organize their lances super well, and that's SJR. And SWK was 3 Stalkers, an Awesome, 3 Banshees, 2 Fire Starters, a Raven, and 2 Jenners.
So they brought an Awesome.
I mean, to be fair, if you look at the Season 2 Marik stats, the highest damage mech was actually an Awesome 9Q.
That is interesting.
So, and I believe it was an SWK pilot who had it. So, I mean, they had something to be going off of, but yeah, so that's a 3-0 in favor. Let me pop up the little winner tag for SJR. SJR takes this match, so that means that their faction, which, I should really know their name. I believe they're the Duchy, aren't they? Let me take a quick look at that.
Just gonna blink for a second, not answer that question.
I lied. So SJR is actually playing as Marik in this campaign. So that means that the red team, I'll bring up the map. Let's take down this patch. Have trouble with the display again. Okay, so that means that SWK, who were the previous owners of the center planet, which is worth 3 victory points in this campaign format, are now the planet is now going to go to red team, which is SJR's team. So
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe now after this week of games for Merrick, it'll be taking a 1 week break as we kind of see what private lobbies can do for us.
I think we're I believe there was a discussion at the last meeting, which I had to miss because I was busy, about everybody's going to make sure to get all of their matches done. So Merrick works in 2 week cycles. You have like 2 weeks to play all of your matches and stuff, and then you have another unit meeting and you go again. And I believe that they're taking some time to see how lobbies work before they make any like official decisions on what's going on, because they wanted to get all matches done before private lobbies came out, so they didn't have any weird stuff going on if something went wrong. But yeah, a great series. Interesting to see some of these like really intense restrictions. I don't know what else to call them. They were pretty extensive. Other than I mean, they could use W, so I guess that's allowed.
Yeah, get it out of there next time. Come on. Who's that? Who runs Versinix?
Tony is the one in charge
Tony.
of this league.
Yeah, just get W out of there.
Yeah, I got it right, Siri. I went back, I changed it. And I don't know who Blue is because they're dead to me. Well, I had fun doing this. I know it was kind of last minute and it wasn't super have the drawable maps and stuff like that, for which I apologize. But it was fun. Good to cast some different matches, and fun to have Tribert on here as a caster for the first time. How'd you like it, man?
It was just a great time. I hope everyone out there was as entertained as I was.
Yeah, it was good to have you on. We'll be having next episode. Well, actually, let's go over the match really quick. Is there much you want to talk about with that one in terms of builds or strategy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Fair enough.
I'm kidding. We certainly can. I mean, the big thing we saw SWK just move immediately into Upper City. We saw SJR move right into Theta, which in most matches you certainly would not do because you are sitting ducks for pop snipers and also for strikes. But in this match, with those not existing, SJR rightly realized that the danger in that was certainly much less.
Yeah. It was certainly an interesting series, if nothing else, just to see the diversity of mechs. Like, you don't normally see Orions and stuff like that, which is fun. And you saw some interesting playstyles coming out of both teams like that. I don't think you'll never see a push like that down Theta with jump snipers allowed or arty strikes allowed. So it allowed for some different strategies, which was fun.
And I will say, I mean, personally, I have sort of mixed feelings on Marik. I think it is very, very fun to play games like this. The only thing I just don't enjoy is practicing it. When you're in the open queue and you're trying to practice a drop deck that uses nothing but medium lasers and the odd LBX-10, it's just such a pain, right? Hopefully, private lobbies will take away a lot of that pain, so it's very easy to set up scrims against other teams that are can be running the exact same thing as you are, and then you're both getting something out of it, right?
And think about this: from now on, all matches will take this long to cast. That was
gonna be glorious.
We sat down about an hour and a half ago. We were sitting around for a little while, just waiting for it to get started and all that jazz. We're gonna have private lobbies. Everything's gonna go fast. Be able to cast a ton of matches. It's gonna be a blast. And then eventually, we're gonna get spectator mode, and then I'll just be able to sit around all day and cast matches, because it's not like I have school or anything. That's totally what I do with my free time. No, it's gonna be good, and I'm excited.
Absolutely. But you know what? Let's not overhype it. What if we're setting ourselves up for a giant letdown?
I mean,
I expect nothing from private matches right now. It could just go terribly.
They're gonna cost 100. They're gonna cost
100.
They're gonna cost 100 MC per game. You're only gonna be able to bring mechs that start with the word flame. I think we talked about this already. Like, that's how private matches are gonna work. So just be ready
Hero
for
mechs
it.
Only, yeah. No, it's not just you need premium time. You need premium time and
premium time only hero mechs. Yep. And all matches have to be played on a modified version of Terra Therma, where actually just everything is lava and you're always taking damage.
And if you try to bring a Founders mech in there, it just boots you from the game and uninstalls it.
Yep. Yeah. It actually if you try and enable your legendary founders tag in a private match, it just enables a bot that deletes your system 32, and then your computer's just fucked. I mean,
we're joking, of course.
Careful,
We're just
guys.
trying to just lower expectations for this thing, because I think truthfully, I think I'm speaking for everybody in the competitive community when I say just can't wait. It's what we've been asking for over a year. So
yeah, we're
so
looking
close.
But until then, guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. We'll be doing War Room this Thursday. I'm going to be completely honest and say that I'm not sure who all the guests are or what the topic is yet. I've had kind of a hectic schedule lately. But it will be happening, and I will be there. So, looking forward to that. And, Tribird, give us a shout-out, man.
Give us a shout out. Geez, who am I
Well,
going to
give
shout out? You know what I'll shout out? I'm going to shout out penicillin. Thanks for getting me out of another jam. It's a wonderful, wonderful antibiotic.
Your shout-outs are my fucking favorite. I will still always remember. I'm just sitting there we've been going for a while at this one show, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay, let's do shout-outs. Eagle, why don't you give your shout-outs? And he's like, I just like to give my shout-outs to thick women. And I just lost it.
Whoa.
No.
Plus-sized females.
Plus-sized females. Shit, that's what it was. I could not handle it. But anyway.
To be honest, I didn't get anything out of it either. I was expecting all the plus-size female MWO gaming contingent to be hit me up. Hasn't happened yet.
Well, to be fair, if going by my YouTube analytics I have 0% female viewership, so that could be it. I'm not sure how accurate that is. I'm not sure many people just advertise their gender on YouTube, but that's what it's telling me. So
you're saying I'm on the wrong Twitch TV channel for that?
You're definitely on the wrong Twitch TV channel. The 40 to 50 people watching you tonight are sorely disappointed. Yeah, I have to say.
No,
it's all good.
All right, guys.
Shout out to Raffle.
My shout out goes to you for helping me cast this. My shout out also goes to Siri. I'm so sorry, but you were playing, and sometimes when you're gone, I just get sad and I have to fill the void somehow. So Eagle came here and he helped me fill that void. Mad no homo. Yeah, so we'll be doing War Room on Thursday. Gonna try and get more of these going now that we've got private matches, and hopefully I'd like to try and get a series going where we do grudge matches every Sunday, so we can sit down and cast a fun grudge match between two teams that are want to play each other and want to get some coverage. So that'd be fun.
How about this? It doesn't even have to be two teams. It can be just two players.
Oh, that's true. We could do 1v1s. Oh, 1v1 casting would be sick.
So, and why do you need spectate mode when you just drop in with two, each watching the other player?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I would just drop in and just record myself running around in a spider looking at them, and then the best part would be I would win every game because I would sit at the edge and I'd wait for them to die and then I'd kill them. Be like, team kills galore. Okay, but yep. So that's all coming up in the future. See you guys on Thursday for War Room, and thanks for coming out, guys. Thanks again to Eagle, and thanks to everybody who watched. Good job to SWK and SJR for another great show.
Thanks, y'all.
Catch you guys later.